The night had started like any other. I had been driving around the city, hoping to get a few more passengers before heading home. Business had been slow that day, and I needed money. The rent was due, and my wife had been calling, asking when I would bring something home. It was almost midnight when I stopped at a junction near Woos. The streets were quiet, except for a few cars speeding past. That was when I saw him. A tall man in a dark suit stepped out from the shadows. His face was partly hidden by the dim street lights, but I could see he was clean-shaven, with sharp eyes that never stayed in one place for long. He walked straight to my taxi and knocked on the window. "Are you free?" he asked. His voice was deep, calm. "Yes, Oga," I said. He opened the door and got in. "Drive," he said. I looked at him through the mirror. "To where, sir?" He paused. "I will tell you." Something about him felt strange, but I needed the money, so I said nothing and started driving. After a few minutes, he pulled out an envelope and dropped it on the front seat beside me. "That's for you," he said. I glanced at it. The envelope was thick. I could see the edges of Naira notes sticking out. "Oga, what's this?" I asked. "Just drive." I swallowed hard and focused on the road. My hands were sweating. My mind was racing. Who was this man? Why was he giving me money? And why did I feel like I had just made the worst mistake of my life? I drove in silence, my eyes flicking between the road and the man in my rearview mirror. He sat back, staring out the window, like he had nothing to worry about. But I was worried. The money in the envelope was too much. Nobody gives a taxi driver that kind of money for no reason. I cleared my throat. "Oga, I hope say no wahala day." He turned his head slowly and looked at me. "Just keep driving." His voice was calm, but something about it sent chills down my spine. I nodded and kept quiet. We passed through Garki, then Maitama. The streets were mostly empty, except for a few late-night food vendors and security men sitting in front of big houses. The man gave no directions, but each time we reached the junction, he would tap the seat or say, "Left, right, go straight." After about 30 minutes, he told me to stop near a small, dark street. There were no streetlights, no houses, nothing, just trees and silence. "Park here," he said. I hesitated. "Here?" "Yes. Now turn off the engine." I did as he said. My heart was pounding. He sat there for a moment, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a phone. He dialed a number and spoke in low tones. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but his voice was serious. Then he ended the call and opened the door. "Wait 5 minutes before you leave," he said. "Don't look back. Just drive home." Before I could say anything, he stepped out and disappeared into the darkness. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel, my breath shaky. The envelope of money was still beside me. I didn't know what to do. My whole body was screaming at me to leave, but something told me that whatever had just happened was bad. Very bad. The next morning, I woke up to my wife's voice, shouting my name. "Michael, Michael, come and see something." I sat up quickly, my heart racing. She was in the living room, pointing at the small TV. "Look," she said. I turned to the screen and froze. The news was showing a picture of a well-known politician. He had been shot dead last night in his home. The headline read, "Senator Akinleye Assassinated in his Abuja residence." I felt my stomach drop. But that was not the worst part. The reporter continued. "The police have released a description of the suspect seen leaving the crime scene. Witnesses say the suspect was last seen entering a yellow and black taxi near Woos Junction. The driver of the taxi is now wanted for questioning." I felt like I couldn't breathe. A yellow and black taxi. My taxi. I stumbled back onto the chair, my hands shaking. The money, the mysterious man, the late-night ride. I had driven the killer, and now the police were looking for me. My whole body felt weak. My wife was still talking, but her voice sounded far away. I could only hear the words repeating in my head. "The driver of the taxi is now wanted for questioning." I grabbed the envelope of money from under the table where I had hidden it last night. My hands trembled as I opened it fully for the first time. It was packed with cash, more money than I had ever seen at once. My rent, my children's school fees, everything I had been worrying about, I could pay it all now. But this was blood money. And now, both the police and whoever set me up were looking for me. My wife sat down beside me. "Michael, what is it?" I couldn't tell her. Not yet. I needed to think. I jumped up and grabbed my car keys. "I need to go out." "Go where?" she asked, confused. Just stay inside, okay?" "Lock the doors." "Michael, what is happening?" I didn't answer. I rushed outside, my mind in chaos. I knew I couldn't go to the police. If I showed up now, they would arrest me immediately. I needed to find someone I could trust. Someone who could help me figure this out before it was too late. I thought about my old friend, Sul. He used to be a police officer before he left the force. He knew how these things worked. Maybe he could advise me. I drove straight to his small kiosk in Garki, my eyes scanning every corner, afraid I was already being watched. When I got there, he was sitting outside, sipping tea. "Ah, Michael," he said, smiling. "You look like somebody who just saw a ghost." I sat down, my legs shaking. "Sul, I need help." His smile disappeared. "What happened?" I took a deep breath and told him everything. The strange passenger, the money, the news, everything. By the time I finished, his face was serious. "Michael," he said quietly, "you are in big trouble." "I know," I whispered. "What do I do?" He sighed and rubbed his chin. "First thing, you cannot keep that money. If the police catch you with it, they will say you were part of the plan. And if the people who set you up realize you still have it, they might come after you too." I swallowed hard. "So what do I do?" "Return it." My eyes widened. "To who?" "The police?" He shook his head. "Number. That's too risky. You need to find a way to leave it somewhere safe, somewhere the real killers can take it back without knowing you're involved." I felt a cold sweat on my back. This was too much. I was just a taxi driver. I didn't ask for any of this. Sul leaned forward. "Michael, listen to me. The people behind this are powerful. They won't let you live if they think you're a loose end." A shiver ran through my body. I thought I had picked up an ordinary passenger last night. I didn't know I had just stepped into a deadly game. I wiped the sweat from my face. My hands were still shaking. "Sul, I don't even know who these people are," I said. "How will I return the money without putting myself in danger?" Sul thought for a moment. "Where did the man drop off last night?" "A dark street near my Tama," I said. "There was nothing there, just trees." He nodded. "That means he was meeting someone. Maybe another car was waiting for him." I swallowed hard. "So what do I do now?" Sul leaned closer. "We will return the money to that same spot tonight. We leave it there and go. If they find it, they will know you are not trying to steal from them. And if they see me, then we will make sure they don't." That night, we took Sul's old motorcycle instead of my taxi. It was risky, but we had no choice. I carried the envelope of money in a small black bag, holding it tight like it was poison. The city was quiet. Every time I saw a police checkpoint, my heart jumped. I could almost feel them looking for me. By the time we got to the dark street, my whole body was tense. The place looked exactly the same, silent, empty, like nothing had happened there the night before. "Here," Sul whispered, stopping the bike. "Leave the money by the tree." I hesitated, then slowly stepped forward. My hands were shaking as I placed the bag at the foot of a large tree. For a moment, I just stood there, staring at it. Then I heard it, a car engine. The sound was faint, but it was getting closer. "Michael, let's go," Sul whispered harshly. I turned and rushed back to the bike. As soon as I climbed on, Sul started the engine, and we sped off. I didn't look back. By the next morning, the news had changed. New developments in the Senator Akinleye assassination. The police have found new evidence and are shifting their investigations towards political rivals. I almost collapsed when I heard it. They weren't talking about the taxi anymore, no more mention of a driver. The plan had worked. Later that evening, Sule called. They took the money, he said. I closed my eyes and exhaled. It was over. I didn't know who they were. I didn't want to know. All I knew was that I had just survived something bigger than me. From that day on, I stopped working late at night. Because in Abuja, not every passenger is just a passenger, and not every trip is just a trip.